This is an apple pie. And according to our country's legend and lore, there are a few things in this world that are more American than the apple pie. As it turns out, American pies aren't all that American, but we associate them with our country. And some of the things that we think about that go along with apple pies are baseball, right? Baseball and apple pie. Hot dogs, baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. And not sure how American baseball is, but it's our pastime, the great American pastime. And it's so prevalent that the General Motors Corporation did an ad about baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. And those were the line we asked people, and the flag came up. And obviously, the flag. And if I stood here and I held the apple pie in one hand and the American flag in the other, there would be very little doubt that I was talking about America, our country. The concept of something being as American as apple pie dates from 1928, so it's a fairly new phenomenon. And it's first used in a New York Times article discussing Lou Henry Hoover. And Lou Henry Hoover was the wife of President Herbert Hoover. Here they are together. Now, President Hoover was one of the worst presidents in American history. He generally makes the list along with Harding and Buchanan and Andrew Johnson, sometimes Jimmy Carter, near the bottom of our list of great presidents or poor presidents. And he probably deserves his reputation. He was instrumental in two separate recessions, one is commerce and another is the Great Depression. As we all know, Hoover was president when the stock market crashed in 1929. And for most of his presidency, the stock market went down, and unemployment, in fact, peaks at 25%. One out of every four people, men mostly in those days, was unemployed. But in 1928, the New York Times was lauding this woman, Lou Henry Hoover. And they were saying she was a great American homemaker. And one of the lines is that she was as American as apple pie and corn pone. So there's something else that's a quintessentially American. Corn pone. You ever had corn pone? My friend Julie Luton Shilbrock talked to me about it. And it's essentially cornbread, flatter, less rise, made in a skillet. And she vividly remembers her mother making corn pone in a skillet when she was young. Maybe some of you out there also remember corn pone. Now, you know what's really American? What's truly as American as apple pie? That's investing in the stock market. Americans have always had a fascination with the stock market. And I did some research, and I got some numbers for you. In the United States, 55% of the population owns stock. In England, it's 38%. In Germany, 17%. And in China, guess not surprisingly, 7%. So why are Americans so fascinated with stock? And they say that this goes back to the 1920s, during the roaring 20s, when stock prices rose at a terrific rate, mostly driven by railroad companies. And I guess the prevailing feeling was that railroads were going to grow forever and just ship more and more coal to steel mills and cities for heating, and that this business would just never end. As we know today, Railroads are not as popular, and we use a lot less coal. But at the time, it seemed like a never-ending growth spree, and people rushed to buy stocks. Now, since the 20s, obviously you have a stock market crash in 1929, and you have various ups and downs throughout our history since 1929. And stocks have gotten more and less popular over the years. Right now, they're very popular, and the stocks that we like today are often tech companies. And I guess we're starting to have that same feeling that technology is going to grow for forever, and those stocks will always be worth more. But the point I really want to make is that we love owning stocks, and it's a good idea. Now, I got one other graph or chart I want to show you. And this one breaks down the United States into high income, middle income, and low income. And as it turns out, all three groups own stock, but in substantially different percentages. 80% of high income individuals, high net worth individuals own stock. In the middle, it's 50%. And at the bottom, 20%. So what's that tell us? Rich people own stock. It's nothing more American than getting rich. I can't promise you, and I'm not promising you, that investing in stock will make you rich. I am pointing out that rich people own stock. So, this is Scott Grant, and I'm with Standfast Asset Management, and I've been doing these tutorials every week at 6:22. And I'll be back next week at 6:22. First, I want to do something quintessentially American. And if my friend Scott Kaminkowicz was here, I'd probably go ahead and have a hot dog as well. American pie, or apple pie. American pie. It's a song. Apple pie. Only thing more American than this is investing in the stock market.